Hey everyone, we have one more week in our month's exploration of our principle design from patterns to details. And so I just want to kind of recap a little bit what we've been talking about. We've been looking at this idea that comes from permaculture that reminds us when we look at a landscape, when we look to nature, what are the greater patterns of energy flow? Where does the sun rise and fall? Where are the shady spots and the dry spots? Where is there water? All of these patterns, these information about how energy is moving around the landscape can then really help us design our yard or our garden to really optimize using those patterns that surround us to build the most thriving space and using that overarching information to then fill in little details. And in last week's talk, I began by referencing that I myself am a creature that loves spring. I was born in spring. I feel like I have the most energy in springtime. And then in winter, I've spoken many times about how I feel like I really lose a lot of energy and my attention really needs to draw inward. And I feel very, maybe we could call it depressed, or maybe it's just I feel the call inward in wintertime. And that observation of the patterns of the ebb and flow of my own personal energy over the course of a year took multiple years of observing myself and looking back and saying, okay, what is the general pattern here? But once I know that that general pattern exists, that me as a human being have rhythms and ebbs and flows that mimic the seasons of nature, the seasons of the year, I can then recognize and tell myself perhaps there's nothing wrong with the fluctuations in my emotional states and my energy, but perhaps I am a being that is harmonious, affected by the environment, harmonious with and affected by the environment that surrounds me. And with that information, I can then design a life that allows me to thrive and be more effective. If I know that I need more time for rest and introspection in fall and winter, then I can schedule my life to create that. And if I know that I have the most energy in spring and summer, then I can schedule the things that I'm involved in to match that as well. And the world around us, society, whoever's story it is that we're buying, I think often tells us that we're supposed to be the same and consistent every day of the year, right? That's the expectation of the colonized society or the colonized mind, is that you can be the same every hour of every day, 365 days a year, and not recognizing that we have natural ebbs and flows. And so the thing that I want to invite you into this week, and really as we conclude this month's conversation, is take some time and really look at yourself, look at your life, look at your rhythms. Can you see the general patterns that your body has ebbs and flows of patterns of when you have the most energy, of when you're most tired, of when you need rest, of when you need rejuvenation? Can you see the general patterns that have existed in your life over time, maybe over many years? Again, we also talked about looking at some of our early imprinting, some of the things that may have taken place in our early life or in our childhood. Can you see how certain patterns are replicating over and over and over again in your life? If we can recognize the patterns, we can then begin to make a design. But if we don't know where the energy is, if we don't know where attention is needed, we can't really design a thriving life. And then we're operating under some other kind of assumption. And so the invitation again, look at your life, look at yourself, look at your energies, your history, and just notice, what are the overarching energy patterns, choice patterns, experience patterns that keep showing up? And then what would it look like to design a life that matches your perfect pattern? Contemplate this week. Take this with you, and we'll see where we go together. Much love, my friends. I'll see you on Sunday.